Sorry I'm late, bitch, but it's Christmas and I was out with the boys on Christmas Eve, so nothing got recorded. So, there you have it. If there's anything that needs to be addressed in this chapter, it is how these guys are managing to step up to Sukuna. But he doesn't give a fuck, and neither do I. I just want to see Big Chad over here pack these motherfuckers up and get to Yuji's training arc. JJK chapter 246, another one bites the dust. Even though Gege is a shitty writer, I got this 5-piece Jujutsu Kaisen collection set featuring Gojo, Yuji, Nobara, Megumi, and Mahito. Available on my store, link is in the description. 246 picks up right after Sukuna casted his slashes at ganging him. Turns out Kusakabe created a simple domain in order to lessen the damage from Sukuna's cuts on both himself and Higuruma. At the end of the last chapter, we thought that those slashes from Sukuna were dimensional cutting slashes, the kind of slashes that cut through space itself. Turns out that's not all true, that in hindsight it is more likely that the spell needs to either recharge or a condition needs to be met for a binding vow, which, if I'm be quite honest, is just lazy fucking writing. If you can't tell, this dude Gege has been just thinking up random shit out of nowhere to keep the story going. I mean, he literally killed Gojo off screen, when in the previous chapter, he just about won. But I digress. That's some bullshit. Whatever. We finally find out the difference between Sukuna's two main casts, Dismantle and Cleave. Cleave just shoots regular slashes that are at a fixed damage, whereas Dismantle is far more interesting. Dismantle casts slashes based on the skill level of the user that they are aimed at, so it could be that more than likely it is a combination of both the fact that the skill needs to be charged and meet the conditions of the binding vow in order for the slashes to meet the same standards of the same ones that killed Gojo. What's pointed out is something that we've all been thinking. Why hasn't Sukuna used his other curse techniques? And it's obvious he has more than just what he showed against Jogoat after burning him into a Rice Krispie treat. The Executioner's Sword is brought back up again. And from what we know about the Executioner's Sword is that it appears like the answer. A one-hit kill, you might add, and the revelation brought on by Kusakabe is that he will make sure that the sword will be the winning saving grace even if his life depends on it, which is quite uncharacter of him. Sukuna begins to taunt Kusakabe by saying since he knows how to guard from his slashes, that he's going to go after his legs, and then voila, Choso pops up, and he's got his hands clapped together, ready to unleash another blood pierce. Choso shoots the blood piercing arrow, and it comes swinging at Sukuna full speed, and then Sukuna vanished. He's nowhere to be seen. Except where Choso's violently getting double arm thrusted by Sukuna, and yep, that's it. Sukuna packed him up. They barely been on scene for 5 minutes and Choso got packed. He got packed up. Moment of silence. Alright, back to business. Yuji screams out Choso's name. Then he gets sent down Itadori Airlines. Wait a minute, is that the guy that got packed up by Toji? It's a bird, it's a plane, the guy that got clapped by Toji and Shame? And he's got Nanami's cleaver. And he's swinging that thing at Sukuna. Gege got that shit on him this chapter. Gege got that shit on him. Okay, let's keep reading. And this shit low-key does some damage. I mean, not enough to really hurt Sukuna, but enough to destroy the surrounding environment to showcase the power of the cursed object. But it does catch Sukuna off guard just a little bit. What the Jujutsu sorcerers managed to do was imbue the blunt blade of Nanami with this curse technique. Basically with the Skyrim enchantment, because that's what Gege said he wanted, to give the cannon fodder something to cook with before they get cooked with the kick and then sent off screen. Back to main stage. Kusakabe and Yuji are trying to set Tupac up in the elevator one more time. Kusakabe is behind Sukuna's button mashing with Kenshi, and Yuji is on the other side button mashing with one of the Mishimas, but the whole point was to distract Sukuna. Long enough to catch him slipping with the Executioner's Sword. And that's why you have Higuruma rolling off the shoulders of Kusakabe in the cut like that. He got that shit on. with the smiling Sukuna showing no signs of distress or pressure. After a swing of the executioner's blade, the attempt on his life has failed, and the time for this mollywop is to commence, and he mops everybody. He grabs Higuruma by the suit and throws that guy with a purpose. Yuji gets out of the way, and then an expensive amount of tax dollars just got allocated to another building on the supervillain insurance policy. Then there's Yuji trying to hawk Sukuna down to prevent Higuruma from getting dragged by his weave. So how's that going? Because it ain't going well. Higuruma is getting beaten around the entire map. The city is in ruins with just his body alone. Sukuna is dragging this guy through the mud and is trying to isolate this man. But it's not because he is threatened by the executioner's sword. It seems more like he wants to see how the other two, being Kusakabe and Yuji, will fare once Higuruma is out of the picture. Finally, Higuruma gets his balance after being flung around like a ragdoll for the past 5 panels. And here comes Sukuna, flying down the windows in the building that Ace Attorney aka Higuruma is held up in, and it ain't safe. Transition to earlier, Gang and them being Yuji, Yuta, Maki, Hikari, pretty much everybody that's from Jujutsu High, discuss Higuruma's technique, saying that it can separate Sukuna from Megami's body, since it targets the cursed energy and not just the body itself. Since Judgment, Higuruma's domain expansion, can differentiate between souls. Transition back to business. Remember that big ass building that crumbled down on Higuruma after getting dillywopped by Sukuna a few panels ago? Higuruma lived, and it's because this guy managed to learn domain amplification on the spot and managed to neutralize Sukuna's curse technique, being his slashes. Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of Power all over again. Lazy writing motherfucker. Ace Attorney aka Higuruma has only been a curse user for only 2 months and has seen significant growth, and with this information Sukuna is fascinated. Sukuna has yet to meet a man that he sees as a prospect that can match Santoro Gojo, and he thinks the man that can reach that is sitting right in front of him. The end of chapter 246 has been reached with Higuruma in stance, with this badass panel of him holding the executioner's sword. End of the chapter. Roll the fucking ad. Hey guys, don't forget to check out my collectible store. Recently got this last set of JJK Funko Pops. Got Mahito, Megami, Gojo, Yuji, and lastly Nobita, RIP. All of these come in protection cases and they are all sold together. Not sold separately. This is a collection set, a 5-piece collection set for Jujutsu Kaisen. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. Appreciate it.